Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Version 2 video, and that is the Zaku IV, and welcome to the first video of 2023. Hope you guys enjoy it, and hey, welcome to all the new viewers and new subscribers. And if you guys aren't familiar with this series, which is Buffed or Scuffed, basically every end of the month or start of a new month, BB Studios, which is the dev team for Gundam Battle Operation 2, they will pick a few suits to buff or nerf. Of course, the three things I are really focused on for the unit adjustments of December 2022 was the Gallus, the Unicorn, or the Sturm Gallus, the Unicorn, and the Delta Gundam being nerfed. However, there's some surprising buffs that came out of that, and one of these was the Zaku IV. The Zaku IV was well, on paper, it seemed like a really good support. It was basically a support that can do some close range comboing. It has balancers. It was decently fast with boost speed. It had a heavy stagger, and it actually has a weapon where it can boost and use a instant stun at the same time to help it set up for its melee even better. So on paper it was a very nice suit. However, this suit was a unicorn, and I don't mean a unicorn like GBO2 unicorn where it was just dominating 700, right? This thing was not dominating 600. This thing, I mean unicorn as in it was rare to see, and there was a reason why. This thing was, first of all, you're a massive suit. You're very chunky. You are easy to hit, easy to stun lock. It doesn't matter how much damage you do, because this thing actually had really good damage. If you guys check out my initial thoughts for this suit, I thought its damage was fine. I thought it had really good damage. The issue is it's its game plan. It's trying to get close to people, but it doesn't have the skills to allow it to do that effectively. Of course, you'll have some moments where you'll probably pop off a heavy stagger and do it that way, right? There's just moments where you can actually do really well with this suit. However, compared to the Delta Gundam, which just recently got nerfed, as we mentioned. The Delta Gundam could resist a lot of stuns. It also, I believe that also had balancers, right? Maybe not. It could transform. It had all these easy combo setups. It was a lot. It was actually better to go into close range with the Delta Gundam than this suit, which is what this suit was meant to do, but it wasn't that good at doing it. So it suffered a lot, and it had a very low pick rate. And as we look at the unit adjustments, the data, which is on the website for Gundam Battle Operation 2, you could find it. If we look at the win rate for this suit, it was low. The average support type win rate for 600 was 49%, or 49.0. This suit had a 43.3% win rate. Man, it wasn't doing good. And the dev team even mentioned this suit. Let's see if we can find the quote for it. It has various skills that are effective in close combat, making it a unit that can support and also defend itself in close combat. And that's what they said. And looking at the win rate, it clearly wasn't doing that. So what did they do to help this suit out? Well, they actually did a lot. This is one of those surprise suits that got buffed. Or they surprised everybody with how much they buffed about it. So first of all, it did have 20,000 health. That is now 22,000, and that's always fine to have extra health, right? So extra 2,000 health, that's fine. They also buffed its resistances. Instead of having 18 on both ballistic and beam, which was kind of weird, for at high cost like 600, that is now 25 on both. So that's actually quite nice. That means you take less damage overall. Combine that with more health, that's fine. That's actually pretty good. They also gave this thing damage control level 2. Now, as we mentioned, one of the issues this suit has was getting in close to. It didn't have the skills necessary. It didn't have maneuver armor. It didn't have a dodge roll. It didn't even have damage control. And this was a big suit. Well, now they finally gave it damage control level 2. Now, I still think probably could have gave it something else, but I'm fine with damage control as well, right? But this actually makes it fairly useful against some 600 raids, actually. you know, looking at it, and of course some of the generals. You know, I'm thinking about the Humbrabi or something like the Gapsley, where they're using the Fayadine rifle. The Fayadine rifle, I believe it takes 2 pops of that beam rifle to stun somebody. Well, now this thing has damage control level 2, so it's not going to get stunned from that, which is actually quite nice. I like that. It's definitely going to help out against those kind of suits that have to have a lot of stun accumulations, right? Or, you know, if you have a teammate that wasted a stun from an enemy, well, hey, you can run in there now, and you don't have to worry about vulcans stunning you, right? So yeah, I'm fine with this thing having damage control. That's pretty nice, especially level 2. You know, especially with how big it is, too. It definitely needed at least something, which it surprisingly it never fucking got. Alright, now the long beam rifle actually got buffed. A few things got buffed on this rifle. It looks like actually just everything about it. The thing is with this beam rifle, it was a standstill to fire. You could rapid fire it, basically. It took 2 hits to get a stun, or you could charge it up for a heavy stagger, which would allow you to either help your teammates for combos or help yourself for a combo, right? Set up for your downswing on your knuckle duster. But yeah, they increased the damage. Instead of having 2,100 damage, they gave it 2,300 damage, so an extra 200 damage. That's fine. I like that. They actually reduced the heat rate from 55% to 50. That's actually, yeah, I'm fine with that as well. I believe you can, if you're not waiting for your heat rate, you're just going straight for the overheat, using up all of your all the shots available. I believe you can shoot 3 shots in total. So yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's see, the cooldown time between shots. So if you are rapid firing this, it went from 1 second to 0.8, so that's less than a second. That's fine, I guess. The overheat, now, if you do go for a heavy stagger on this suit with the beam rifle, it does overheat your beam rifle. And this is another problem this suit had, besides it being really easy to stun, was that the fact that you could actually run out of options to help you try and get your combos off a little bit more. So this beam rifle, you would overheat it, and you had to wait 15 seconds. Well, now they reduced that overheat to 12 seconds, which is actually quite nice. This is also something they fix on the head beam cannon ×2, which we'll go over later, which, as I said, helps out this suit a lot in terms of trying to get its stuff done. So back to the beam rifle, the focus is also shortened from 2 seconds to 1.5. They actually increased the velocity, so they increased the speed of the beam while firing, and they also increased the size of it, so that way it's easier to hit, which is fine as well. That means it's got a lot more potential to hit. I actually like that. It does take 2 hits to stun. You have to stand still to fire it, so it should be a little bit easier to hit, right? And hey, actually, first match here is over. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. I think I forgot to mention I have 2 matches here for you, one in space and one on ground. So, all right, mission completed, and let us see. Not on the board, unfortunately. I did beat my rival, and I believe these are both rating matches as well. So, and hey, first place, 4 and 2, good pursuit assist and decent damage and some good individual score. And almost got my my rating up there. All right, now we're on to ground. Anyway, back to the beam rifle. When you do focus fire, as I mentioned, you do get a heavy stagger. They actually made that a penetration now. So if you do charge up that heavy stagger, it can actually go through teammates or go through enemies. That way you can get multiple heavy staggers. That can be used to save a teammate. It could be used to, you know, attack multiple people, get them heavy staggered, and then your team can just wail on them. So that's actually quite nice. I like that. That also means you can shoot, in case you see a pilot trying to bomb plant, you can just shoot through the base to hit him, right? So that's also something you can do, but obviously more so for mobile suit combat. Now the beam knuckle duster also got buffed, but it was only a small little buff, right? The cooldown time between swings. So let's say you do your downswing, and then you have to back off, and then you have to wait for it to ready up again. That went from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So they changed it by 1 second. That's still fine. That means it's better. The head beam Vulcan, the cooldown time went from 7 seconds to 4 seconds. Now, like I said with the what I said earlier, where this suit could kind of struggle with trying to get close to get its job done, what helped exasperate that problem, like I said, you know, if you're going for that heavy stagger and you miss the heavy stagger, well, you overheated your beam rifle. So now you have this weapon, which you can use while boosting, which is nice. If you miss that, you have to wait 7 seconds until you can use it again. So if you overheated your beam rifle and you missed your shot, you're kind of just boned if you're in close range. The only thing you had left you had to rely on was either, if you already had your melee out, well, you're just going to have to do something like... just say fuck it and do another melee and hope you don't get countered, or maybe get a free damage, or you had to use your beam machine gun, which didn't have too great of a stun accumulation, which they did buff here, by the way. So so they actually changed the cooldown time between shots on the head beam cannon to 4 seconds, which is actually really good. I like that. They also reduced the overheat from 20 seconds to 15, so they changed it by 5 seconds. That's actually quite nice. Again, that's really good. In case you overheated it, now it's going to be quicker to come out. Now finally, they buffed the beam machine gun ×2. The cooldown time went from 1 second to 0.8, so if you guys didn't know, this thing could fire a volley, and then you had to wait a second to shoot another volley. Well, now it's 0.8 seconds, right? They also increased the stagger accumulation. I believe the original stagger accumulation for the beam machine gun was either 2 volleys or 1.5 volleys. Now, I tested this in the, well, almost said my testing videos. Same thing, where I went to the testing rooms, right? And it does take 1 full volley to get a stun now, which is fantastic, actually. It's still a little bit hard to aim if you're kind of just, if somebody's like running circles around you. It still can be a little bit hard to aim. I do wish it had ASL to make it easier to hit people, but I guess they didn't want you to get too quick of a stun, right? So, unfortunate, but, you know. And yeah, that's all they did for the Zaku IV. Now, to answer the question, is it buffed or scuffed? And I'm going to say I'm leaning towards more that it was buffed. Now, it still has issues trying to set up its game plan, or try to do its game plan, which is you want to set up for its downswing. You want to get that big boy damage, right? You want to get the heavy stagger, or you want to get somebody stunned. You want to get that stun lock, and then go in for the or something with your head beam foot cannon, right? And then you want to go in with your downswing or your melee, right? Especially if you're teaming up with your teammates. You know, this thing can be very great at setting it for somebody with that heavy stagger or the stuns that it has. And of course, if you're double teaming somebody, well, yeah, that downswing is just going to do over 7,000 to a general without a melee build, by the way. I don't think I was using my melee build in either of these matches. And then, you know, your teammate can follow up for something gross, right? It's still, however, it's still suffering from that original problem it has, where, okay, well, you're really big. I'm going to stun you with everything I have because you're not very you're not very hard to miss. This suit is really not hard to miss at all. One of the issues this thing has is if it's trying to get close to stun you. As we mentioned, it does not have a defensive skill like maneuver armor or a dodge roll, so you could just shoot it, and there goes its game plan. Unless you're super close to it and you don't have a dodge roll, or you overheated your thruster gauge, right? Then of course it can probably do something to follow up on, right? But yeah, that area is still troubled, but these buffs do help alleviate that problem. The beam rifle being changed, it does have a easier time trying to get that heavy stagger off. The heavy stagger is more rewarding because it has more damage, and it can penetrate through people now, so you can set up for a multi heavy stagger, right? I should have mentioned also, since the suit has more resistances and it has more health, technically that does give you more opportunities to try and set up your game plan as well. Now, as I mentioned, it's still hard, but still, having more chances to get that off is still really beneficial to the suit. And of course, the suit's also faster now, too. Let's see, the head beam cannon being changed, the cooldown time on that is really nice. The overheat rate is really nice on these suits as well. I think that first match I was using a overheat build for my beam rifle, so every time I would get a heavy stagger and get a lot of damage out of it, I think it would take, let me double check what it was initially. The initial change for the suit was 15 seconds. I believe I have that lower. It's now to 12 seconds, and I believe I can get that to 9 seconds with my overheat build, which is pretty nice to have a heavy stagger every 9 seconds, right? And its charge is really fast too, which is nice. The focus time, of course, again, the focus time is 1.5, so very fast heavy stagger to charge, right? And every 9 seconds is really good. The head beam cannon being changed, again, the cooldown times and the overheat being reduced is really beneficial to the suit. Essentially, I think they missed the mark in terms of trying to help it directly try to get its game plan off. I think maneuver armor, at least maneuver armor level 1 would have been nice for the suit, but obviously they really just don't care about giving supports at high cost the skills that raids and generals both share quite often. But I do think what they did here, it does alleviate a little bit the problem the Zaku IV has. It now has, like I said, it has more opportunities to get that game plan off, which is nice. So yeah, to say buffed or scuffed, again, to answer the question, I do think it's buffed. Just slightly, though. Timeout, actually slightly, a little bit more than slightly, right? Definitely, I guess I'll just say buffed, right? But hey, mission completed. Let's see how we did on ground. And hey, top assist score, I'll take that. And hopefully we get a high enough placement. Gonna praise some teammates. And we'll get there soon. Our placement, come on now. Hey, 4th place, 4 and 3. Definitely could have done better with some of the lives there, but hey, I'm fine with that. Over 100k damage, so yeah. And again, this thing was not bad damage-wise. I think I haven't mentioned that in the initial thoughts. It was not suffering from lack of damage. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And type up in the comment section how you feel about the Zaku IV. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And when it came out, I didn't really care for this thing at all. A little bit disappointed in it because we had something that, again, on paper, the suit it sounded really good. But yeah, obviously, from the win rate and all that good stuff, it was not doing good at all. It was basically like the RS Jarja, right? So hopefully these buffs do kind of help it get picked more. It would be nice to have a change of pace for supports like this one, just be like a close range kind of aggressor, right? Because this thing can play pretty aggressive if you're not being constantly annoyed by the other suits at this cost, by getting stunned a lot, right? It can actually be pretty disgusting damage-wise. The issues was, like I said before, the size of the suit kind of getting in the way with having no defense. So hopefully, giving it more resistances and giving it more reduced cooldowns, hopefully that does help the suit out a lot more. And honestly, because of the huge vacuum that the nerf that the Delta Gundam got, hopefully that huge vacuum is going to get filled up with some of these supports that kind of got forgotten about as 600. Maybe the Zaku IV can have a chance to rise again, right? Hopefully, right? And maybe if more people play it, maybe it can get buffed again. I think it's fine now. I think you could totally pick this up and at least do a good match with it, right? So I do think it's buffed. And yeah, that'll be it, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Oh, actually, before we go, I am taking a look at the Go high mobility type as well, since that got buffed. It got a surprising buff, actually. And I might get some some high level matches with it, because it is like a native 450 suit, and now it's actually no, it might be a little bit lower, but now it's like at 600, 650. I'm definitely going to try a few matches with that. So, yeah, now I'll see you guys later. Bye.